Hello, you guys. Can you hear me? Sorry, the cable was unplugged. That's really annoying. But yeah, you guys. I'm Niiniifc. This is Blue Lines TV. Welcome to another Q&A live stream. Of course, sorry for the technical error just then. I've connected everything now, so things should be working. But yeah, you guys, it's good to see everyone. Everyone here. Everyone's sending me no sound. I get it now. I get it. I fixed it. You know what? I wish I could fix the delay with the chat. You know what I mean? Because it's like the chat is like far behind. But yeah, you guys, good to see everyone. You guys understand? It's the Q&A live stream. I'm gonna answer as many questions as I can in the next hour. If I can't answer all of them, and if you want your question prioritized in the stream, of course, send me a super chat, or if not, become a Patreon subscriber. It's the cheapest alternative. $5 is like what, £3 something. Immediately you can yeah, you'll be getting access to a lot of things with the channel. So I'm going to be releasing the Patreon trailer for next week, so you guys can really see what to expect if you become a Patreon subscriber. Got the first super chat. Appreciate that, man. Christian Valadez, thanks for that, bro. I really appreciate that, man. And you know what, Christian, why don't you even consider being a Patreon subscriber? Because you'd be saving so much money too in the future. Plus you'll be getting exclusive videos and everything. But Christian's question is, with Tuchel maybe taking Conte's coveted job at Paris Saint-Germain and Gattuso renewing at Milan, where is a realistic club you can see Conte going to for next season? Now, yeah, you know, with how the news has become, Conte definitely was in the running for the Paris Saint-Germain job. Of course, with the Emir of Qatar basically stating that he wants Tuchel, that means obviously what he says goes. So it seems like the plans have changed. We do know that Conte's representative, Federico Pastorello, was in Paris the day before our game against Barcelona, discussing a transfer. I mean, it was no surprise to me, when I was hearing reports of Conte looking for a move away that quickly. It's telling you that he's trying to find a club quickly, and Paris Saint-Germain was the club that Conte really, really wanted. I mean, you guys, I've been saying this around like November time, so you guys already know that Conte wanted Paris Saint-Germain, but it seems like possibly that might not be happening anymore. I think when it comes to his options, I think it's very interesting to hear what Bayern Munich have said, because they were, maybe they're in like a pretty similar situation themselves. They thought that Tuchel would be replacing Heinkes at the end of the season. It wasn't to be. And they've come out stating that their next managerial appointment doesn't necessarily have to be fluent in German. We know that they'll need a manager for next season because Heinkes is retiring. We know as well that Conte can learn a new language pretty quickly as well. So there's a possibility that Bayern Munich could be looking at Conte for next season. Yeah, I think that's the most one of the most realistic jobs for him at this moment in time. Of course, there is the Italian national team, but I don't think Conte wants to go back into, coaching international teams just yet. Even though the Italian FA really want to bring him back, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just thinking maybe Bayern Munich is one of his most realistic alternatives at this moment in time. What other clubs are there really? Allegri is going to stay. As you said, Gattuso just signed a new contract extension. Inter Milan could be a possibility. I know they've got Spalletti at this moment in time, but if Conte was available, we know that with Inter, with some of the players they have and the money they've been spending, you'd be expecting much better from that set of, from the set of players. They may feel that Conte is a viable alternative. So, I think Inter Milan are an option. Bayern Munich. Any clubs in this country? I'm not too sure, to be honest. Not Paris Saint-Germain anymore. And definitely no jobs in La Liga. So I think it's out of Inter Milan and Bayern Munich for Antonio Conte. Yeah, I hope you like that. Hope you like that answer. I tried going into detail with that. And again, bro, I appreciate that super chat, man. Thanks a lot for that. I really appreciate it. Okay, look, what other questions do people have? J Mojo Nini, I almost got in a fight at school. What? You have to explain when the stream is nearly ending. You have to explain the context behind what's happening. Okay. Major General N'Golo Kante, Conte out. Yeah, you said it. Harry Lee. Conte will play Icardi as a target man for... Exactly. Well, Inter Milan, they have basically signed... Inter Milan have signed Lautaro Martinez. You know, that young Argentinian striker I'm always going on about. They've officially... Well, not officially, but I think the signature is like basically 95% done. So yeah. Oh, Mr. Super Chat. CFC Anuj. Appreciate that, man. Thanks a lot. I'm going to open up the other tab so I make sure I don't miss out on any Super Chats. But yeah, CFC Anuj, your question is... Allegri... Wait, sorry, give me a second. Allegri to Chelsea is happening, question mark. Carlo to Juventus. Well, here's the thing, you guys. Again, I don't think maybe you haven't seen my the video I released yesterday, the News Daily video I released on Allegri, but Allegri won't be happening. Again, he just signed a new contract in the summer. It's going to cost a lot of money to sign off Juventus. That interview he had with the Telegraph, which a lot of these, media publications just melts. They were creating stories from nothing. Allegri will leave in the future. I don't think he's going to leave at the end of this season. And even then, you have to realize this, you guys. Conte is going to cost us at least 9 to 11 million because he has that compensation package. So that rules us out signing Enrique because his wage demands are so high. And, all the reports coming out saying that, Marina's cancelled the deal is definitely correct. Costs way too much money. Imagine spending, let's say, 11 million on Conte and another 15 to 16 million on top. 27 million? The club won't be doing that. Now, with Allegri, number one, he's one of the highest paid managers in Europe. I think he's earning between 9 to 10 million a year, which is crazy. So imagine paying Allegri 10 million a year, as well as then obviously paying Juventus to sign him off them. That's an incredible amount of money, as well as paying off Antonio Conte. That could easily get into the that could easily get into 30 million plus. So it's not going to be a feasible option. So Allegri won't be coming at all. Maybe sometime in the future, who knows? We don't know what's going to happen in football, but he's not going to be the option this summer. Carlo Ancelotti to Juventus, that is definitely a possibility. If you guys watch my previous, not my previous one, the video I released just 2 hours ago, basically the manager I was hinting at in regards to who Monaco are looking to bring in the summer is Ancelotti. Basically with Jardim, again, we've already been speaking to him already. They're okay with selling him as well. So I think Jardim is definitely a realistic alternative. He's going to cost 6.5 million to sign. Emanalo is the director of football. Mate, it's going to be negotiations are going to be even easier. We're going to be bringing in Luiz Campos as well. These guys already have a working relationship at Monaco. Plus, there's players in that team in Hazard, Bakayoko, Kante that Jardim is definitely going to be happy to work with. So, I've always seen it between Enrique, Tuchel and Jardim. It was going to be out of those three managers. I'm starting to feel that Jardim is moving up on the priority list. I think he'd be a great manager, to be honest. Like, every time people have asked me, do you prefer Tuchel or Jardim? I haven't really had an opinion because I think that they're both great. So either one of them I would have been happy with. And I've got some other super chats. Thank you guys. I'm going to be answering your questions now. Let me get straight there. Okay, let me get there. Hurry up. Internet, hurry up. Okay. Will Rayner. Thank you, Will Rayner. I appreciate that super chat, man. Means a lot. Hypothetically, say we got a transfer ban. Do you think we have enough quality in the first team, youth academy and loan army to compete next season? That is a very, very good question. Frank Greenaway, I'm going to answer your question afterwards, bro, and thank you for the super chat as well. But Will, honestly, Will, I personally feel that with the academy, the players we have in this team, and guys in the loan army, I feel that we could probably still compete next season if we just had the right manager with the right system. I think that Liverpool win over Man City last night it really opened up a lot of people's eyes. I'm not implying any of your guys in their stream, but a lot of football fans' eyes in general. You look at that Liverpool team, you see their midfield, with Henderson and Milner, and then you're seeing their defence, you're seeing Karius and goal. Really, the only top players they do have is literally four, Van Dijk and their front three. Other than that, it's a very, very mediocre team. That's probably like a, mid-table team, to be honest. And look at the style of football they're able to play with so many limited players in that first team. And, Liverpool are above us. They're third in the league. Completely destroyed Man City last night. And they've been amazing. I feel that we do have a lot of players where if you have the right manager that implements the right system to get the best out of these guys, then you'll start to see just how good they are. And I think we could really challenge, because I think the issue we've always had, not just in regards to youth players or players on the loan army, but just a lot of players in general, is the fact that most of them can't really play to their, 10 out of 10 full capacity. For example, I'll use Willian as an example. We know that Willian, his key position is on the left-hand side where he's able to cut inside. His key position is playing in the middle to receive the ball, essentially. Now, this guy has had to play on the right for how many years now? And he's just been very average. I think this season, it's really highlighted Willian's qualities to people. Seeing him play on the left and on the right is two completely different things. He's much more goal hungry on the left-hand side when he's able to cut inside. And I'm using Willian as that example because, again, this is a guy that has never been able to play in his set position. The team really haven't found that, correct balance for every player to play to their maximum potential. And I think this is why we have issues all the time. Again, I've always felt in football, if you have a team that complement each other, because, the advantage we have over every other team in this country is our defence, our goalkeeper, and Conte in midfield. Now, they could easily replace a lot of other defenders and, they could easily replace a lot of other defenders in this country in their first teams. And I feel, with Eden Hazard in this team as well, it's not as if we're a much weaker team. Already, those 7 players would easily walk into Liverpool's team. But Liverpool literally only have 4 out of 11 players that actually have quality and could actually, challenge for places for bigger teams. So it lets you know straight away that if we had to turn to our youth team, our academy, our loan army, we can actually do something. I think when you look at the loan army, you can imagine Kurt Zuma, Ruben Loftus-Cheek being some of the key guys coming back, and you've got Jada Silva playing on the left. We saw what Trevor Arnold did against Leroy Sané. When I see guys like Trevor Arnold have amazing performances like that, it just gives me even more confidence knowing that, if a John Sterling or a Jada Silva had to play in a game of that magnitude, they put in a similar caliber performance or even better. That's how good they are. It comes down to opportunities. I look at other guys like Masunda and Boga, if they're able to play, much more offensively than they would be able to do under Conte, you see the different side to them. Michy Batshuayi out there on loan as well. With him coming back to the team as well, that can provide something. Van Ginkel. Already, these are a lot of players that are very good. And again, if you just have the right manager playing in the right system, you'll get the best out of all these guys. And I honestly feel, hypothetically, if a transfer ban ever did come, I'd still expect the team to compete. Me personally, I don't think the team would be weaker, where we'd have to settle for, let's say, a top 6 place. No, I feel that the squad would still be good enough to compete for the league. But again, Will, thank you for that super chat, bro. Appreciate that, man. Okay, and Frank Greenaway, your question is, how do you feel about us getting Leon Bailey? Now, in regards to Leon Bailey, I personally feel that he'll be one of the key signings we tried to make during the summer. Again, I've done a lot of videos on Leon Bailey already. Of course, we know that he was having trials with Chelsea before he signed for Genk when he was 13 or 14, something like that. His dad, his stepdad's, he has an academy in Jamaica, and he's hoping that if Leon Bailey was to sign for Chelsea, what would be part of that agreement is potentially his stepdad having an arrangement with Chelsea where he'd be able to move some academy graduates from his Jamaican youth team to the Chelsea youth teams and obviously conduct business like that. I mean, you know, this is like a typical deal that happens in football. Obviously, it'll be, you know, like a great financial reward for him, as well as obviously, you know, a lot of Jamaican kids having the opportunity to play for one of the best youth teams in the world. I mean, and obviously, this could be one of the key parts of obviously influencing Leon Bailey to sign for Chelsea. I mean, Leon Bailey's been in London a lot. I mean, he comes to London, I think, nearly every month. His agent, I think he spoke to Chelsea during January, but he did make a £27 million bid during January, but Bayer Leverkusen weren't willing to sell during that time. So I'm expecting him to be available during the summer. I mean, no, he definitely is going to be available during the summer. My source did tell me, because he's actually a lawyer, a Belgian lawyer. He told me that because he works with a lot of the Belgian clubs as well in regards to, you know, transfer negotiations. He also works a lot. Sorry, he also works with a lot of League One clubs as well when it comes to that. And he was basically stating that you know, if Leon Bailey goes, I think Genk they'll be eligible to receive a payoff. And I think really they wanted to bring in a lawyer to really, you know, I think they wanted to bring in a lawyer to find out how much they'd be able to earn from that possible transfer. And basically he told me, well, you know, the fact that they even approached me tells me that they feel very confident that Leon Bailey will be leaving during the summer. And I think Chelsea will be that club for him. I mean, it's been a repeated pattern as well. I mean, how many guys, someone like, you know, like a Rudiger, we've been scouting this guy for how many years before we signed him? Andre Schürrle was one, Salah was one. You know, most of the players we've signed, there've been extensive scouting reports on these guys before we, you know, officially bring them in. It's going to be the same thing with Leon Bailey. I mean, the club know everything about him. In my opinion, I feel maybe Bailey should maybe spend another season with Bayer Leverkusen just to really properly cement himself into the first team. You know what I mean? Because with Chelsea, I honestly feel sometimes if you're not as consistent enough and you're young, you're more willing to lose your place compared to an older, experienced player. Of course, it's not fair, but it's how Chelsea do things. But again, he is a very good player. But I think because he's just fully broke into the Bayer Leverkusen team, I honestly feel another season from Bayer Leverkusen would do him wonders. I like to see us get Riyad Mahrez. I keep making this point all the time. I feel he's a 2-in-1 type of player. You know, he's got those playmaking abilities as well as a goal threat. Plus, he plays on the right-hand side and he can cut inside. I have dreams of Mahrez on the right and Hazard on the left. I don't see why we wouldn't go in for Mahrez in the summer. I mean, the competition for him won't be big. My opinion, I mean, I haven't heard anything about this, but I'm just trying to use my logic here. We know that Mahrez went on strike after the January transfer window ended because Leicester messed up his move to Man City. Now, of course, he wasn't in the team for a few weeks. He gets back into the team and he continues his form. Now, something tells me, because most times in football that doesn't really happen like that. You know, the player that's had his head turned a bit, his performances aren't as good. I mean, Alexandra was an example of this, you know, this first part of the season for Juventus. So something's told me that the Leicester board have probably promised Mahrez that he's allowed to leave during this summer for a reasonable fee. And I think maybe this is why Mahrez has been so happy with continuing to play for Leicester. I feel that Mahrez is going to be available this summer for a good fee. He's the type of player we need to go in for. I mean, last summer he was at the hotel. We were negotiating for him. We need to seal the deal for this guy, in my opinion. But yeah, thank you, Frank, for that super chat, man. It means a lot. Does anyone else send any super chats? I don't think I've missed any other super chats. Nah. Okay, I don't think I've missed any other super chats, have I? Have I missed any other ones? Sorry, you guys. Give me a second. My internet's a bit slow. Okay, no more super chats then. Okay, thank you guys to everyone that sent in super chats. It means a lot, helps support the channel, and obviously I can prioritize your question for longer. But you guys are going to start answering some of your questions in the comment section. Sorry, I've missed out on a lot because there's so many. Starting with Arthur Shapiro. Which players would you most like to see Chelsea sign over the summer? I'd like us to sign Riyad Mahrez. I'd like us to sign someone like a Thiago or Isco. And yeah, I think that's really it. They're like the two main players I think we should sign. I don't feel. I think Emerson will probably get more of a first team spot for next year. He's got a lot of potential. Our defense is sorted. Our keeper's sorted. I think if you add in a Thiago or Isco in that midfield with Conte and Ruben, and then you've got Baka and Fabregas as well, that's a very strong midfield in my opinion. And up front, you know, if you've got Mahrez, Willian, Hazard and Hudson-Odoi, and up front too with Michi and Morata, I think that's a very strong squad. I don't feel that we need to spend money on so many players like this summer. I honestly feel that I think we'll only sign players for players that get sold. So we'll be bringing in replacements, but I think we only need 2 upgrade signings, one for midfields and one for the forward areas. Okay, what other questions are there? Clifford, hey Clifford. Thank you. Ty just said Wenger will win the title next season. Ooh. Eternal optimism. You've got to rate that. J Mojo Nini, what's your thoughts about Ty from Arsenal Fan TV? I don't know the guy. I don't know him personally. I mean, I don't agree with everything he says, but at the same time, I don't get why people get so angry with what he says. I mean, he seems like a pretty harmless character to me. You know, he seems, yeah, I know he's very optimistic, overly optimistic and positive. I guess I can see why people would make fun of that, but I think that people take it a bit too far, you know. I don't know. It doesn't really bother me, to be honest. Okay, what other questions? Okay, Josh Banks, hey Joshy, good man. Can you explain the Patreon thing? I don't understand it. Oh shit, sorry. Basically, it's like a subscription service where you know, you decide how many months you want to pay for. I don't even know how to run it properly. Basically, I'll be offering Patreon subscribers. Obviously, you'll be able to obviously enter subscriber call-in shows just like that. You'll have your questions prioritized as well when it comes to Q&A live streams. You'll be getting an exclusive tactical videos as well because I can't afford to risk it on YouTube anymore. And I'm hoping for next season to have a Discord for Patreon subs, and because I'm always getting spare tickets for games, I'm hoping to do like, let's say, a Patreon what is it, like a Patreon raffle draw. So if you are from London or if you're going to be in London during this time, I think once a month I'll probably do like a prize draw and obviously take someone to a game for free. Because I've got like 3 season tickets. So I've always got a spare game. I've always got a spare ticket. And a lot of subscribers have actually come to games with me. So you know what I mean? It's not as if it's anything new for me. So I just thought that, you know, hopefully the channel's going to be even better for next season. Yeah, I just thought it would be like a nice way for me to give back, you know? I mean, it's only 50 for a ticket, so it wouldn't be too bad. Okay, what other questions? Okay. The only Ryan _ also, what formation would best fit our style of play? We need to go to a 4 at the back. Yeah, honestly, I feel a 4 at the back is needed. Now, if you guys notice one thing in particular, if you have you realised when we try to break teams down, there's like this massive island in the middle of the opposition's half. A massive island in the middle of the opposition's half where there's no player. And in my opinion, I always feel that we're like a man short in midfield. Now, for me, I've never really understood, especially when we're playing games that we need to obviously get back in it and attack. I've never understood why Conte doesn't necessarily just tell, let's say, the guy in the middle of the back 3 to push into midfield. You know what I mean? Just have another option for guys. Yeah, another passing option in midfield. Conte has never once even tried to experiment with something like that. I just think that, you know, you look at all the big teams now. you need numbers in midfield. You need a sense of midfield control these days. I feel that we're always a man short in our midfield, and when we try to break teams down, and if, I don't understand the defensive benefits from a back three anymore. Really, there is no real benefit. I feel that with back threes these days, you just invite a bit more pressure onto yourselves that you don't have to be inviting. And yeah, it's time to play football for next season, in my opinion. Okay, I've got some super chats. The first one, Nate. Yes, Nate, you good, bro. Thanks, man, and thank you for that super chat, bro. Your question is, if Aspie can't start, who would you have as captain for next season? Now that's very interesting that you bring up Aspie. You know what? It's going to be weird. I really feel... I've made this point a lot. That, for next season, it's because we'll be playing a completely new style of football. I've been stressing that it needs to be like a clean slate in terms of how we see the squad and how we see certain players. Certain players are going to excel even more, and certain players aren't going to excel as much playing in this new system for next year. I honestly feel Aspie might struggle at times. I don't think he's someone you use for a back two, in my opinion. Maybe I'm being a bit cynical, but in a way, he has been fulfilling very niche roles throughout the following seasons. Obviously playing as a fullback under Mourinho. We know that Mourinho doesn't like both his fullbacks to push forwards, and then obviously under Conte playing on the right side of a back three. Now, of course, there's a possibility that Aspie can just move back to playing as a fullback, but let's say you're playing under Tuchel's or Jardim's, where you're playing as a fullback for those guys. It's one of the most key things with their system. The fullbacks need to be able to beat a man one-on-one. They need to be able to have amazing pace. They have to get forward very well. They have to be able to keep the ball by themselves in forward positions very well as well. And, of course, good delivery. We know that Aspie's crossing is decent, but in terms of playing further up the pitch, I'm not too sure about that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Aspie for next season. But in terms of captaincy, well, Kale is probably going. Ideally, I would just like Luiz to stay. I think hopefully the new manager is going to like him. I've always felt that he really is the most, he's got captain material, in my opinion. He's very vocal. If you notice, our back three has been conceding way more individual mistakes that we've ever seen under Conte's spell. And what I definitely think is the case is the lack of communication at the back three. Now, with Christensen, he is very young, but he's not vocal. He's not going to lead the defence. With Azpilicueta, he's a leader in terms of, obviously, you don't have to tell him what to do. He can kind of just, you can rely on him. You can trust him. But there isn't that leader that controls and marshals the defence and tells the midfielders where to be as well. When Luiz was playing in a back three, he was really marshalling that defence and telling Aspie and Cahill where to go. And especially in big games, you notice our concentration seems to be even better in big games. And Luiz stood out even more in those big games. And I don't know, I just personally feel that he's captain material, in my opinion. I think there's so many examples of things he's done. I think he just improves the team with his leadership as well. Yeah, I think if Luiz still stays, I think he should be the captain for next season. Answering the next question, Brian Does Things. Thank you for that super chat, bro. I appreciate that. And your question is, when Conte came in, we saw many Italian Serie A players being linked. What sort of players can we expect to be linked with if Campos or Jardim come in? That is very interesting. Now, looking at some of the players that they were looking at, they were definitely looking at looking into the Portuguese market. Of course, when guys like Bernardo Silva came, Carrasco, they also looked within Ligue 1 as well. Yeah, Ligue 1 and the Portuguese league seem to be very key areas that they were scouting. If you look at the Liga NOS right now, I mean, players that do stand up, Rahimi, I think he's a very good player. Gelson Martins for Sporting Lisbon. I know Sporting Lisbon have this young striking sensation. What's his name? Rafael Leao. I don't even know what type of striker he is. I'm going to try and do some research. Yeah, there are definitely some decent players in that league. I'm trying to think. Maybe Gelson Martinez on the right hand side, very skillful, very direct. I looking at him, I think he's a better version of Cuadrado in my opinion. He can provide something on the right hand side. Yeah, there's some of the players that stand out for me. Of course, Alex Telles is there. I don't think we'll sign him because we've got Emerson now. So there is definitely talent. I think in Ligue 1 as well. There's always an abundance of talent in Ligue 1. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what type of players will be linked. Of course, with Campos as well, he understands the South American market very well too. I can't think of any players in Brazil that are standing out for me just yet. But I'm sure there are a ton of clubs that he liaises with. He understands what to look for. So yeah, I expect maybe players from the Portuguese league and the French league to be looked at. And again, Brian does things. Appreciate that super chat, bro. Thanks a lot for that. Okay, answering some more questions. Okay, let me find. Okay, let me answer some of your questions. What ones? What do people got for me? Okay, Chelsea Slim with great intensity. Okay, Paolo Francesca from Shakhtar Donetsk. Yep, he's starting to garner a lot of interest. I like how he plays football as well. Will Rayner just became a Patreon sub. Appreciate that, bro. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks. Okay, what other questions? Luiz is a top 3 centre back in the world. Honestly, I feel that he is. I think with Luiz, it's just been falling out with Conte. You know what? I'll tell you guys something. I've been told as well. One of the reasons as to why maybe Conte isn't set in stone for the Paris Saint-Germain job is because allegedly, but again, I don't know if this is a rumor or not, so don't take this as concrete proof, but I've been told allegedly that maybe Luiz had something to do with Conte not getting the Paris Saint-Germain job. It makes a lot of sense. Of course, Luiz is very popular and at PSG. The Brazilian contingent, everyone loved him there already. The owners liked him a lot. So if he speaks, they're going to vouch for him. You know what I mean? They're going to take what he's going to say on board. Of course, they fell out. I can imagine Luiz making comments about the style of football not being good enough. You're not going to... And I can imagine Luiz making a comment about the training sessions being very boring. You don't play with the ball as much. And when you've got guys like Neymar's and Mbappe's, Cavani's, you can't be... It doesn't do them any benefits, being trained like that. You know what I mean? They're saying that I was told that Luiz had a lot to do with Conte not being looked at for Paris Saint-Germain. Maybe this is why Conte's been even more militant with Luiz. Maybe this is why we'll probably won't even see him play until the end of this. Maybe I don't even think we're going to see Luiz play at all this season. That's how it's looking like in my opinion. Again, when I heard it, of course, there's some juicy information. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, what other questions you guys got for me? Okay. Nini, any chance of Bale to Chelsea? CFC Anuj? I don't think so. I think with Chelsea, I can't think we'd want to spend that type of money for guys that you can't really rely on to play most of the season. I think he'd be great on the right-hand side in his natural position, of course, but I think in terms of the money, his wages, and then you probably get him for like 50% of the season. I can't see Chelsea making that type of move for him, Kurt Zuma, yes, Kurt. Nini, if we don't get Jardim or Tuchel, do you think we will fall into the same trap as we have for years? By appointing, and nope, Kurt, I don't think that's going to be happening for next season. I don't think that will be. That's not going to be happening because, I've been told that the main focus for next year is on a nice, attractive style of football. And obviously, they're trying to re-strategize how they do things. And I was told, even if, let's say, some of those big-name managers didn't come, expect maybe a look at unexpected managerial appointments, like maybe Marco Silva or a Nagelsmann from Hoffenheim, or even a Brendan Rodgers could be looked at. So there definitely is going to be an emphasis on just looking for a manager that has the right styles over what they've won. So this is why I keep saying that I'm feeling positive for next season. What other questions? Okay, Jardim Razak. What Chelsea legends should Chelsea make a statue of? Oh, Ray Wilkins. I mean, he's been a very good servant for the club. Of course, rest in peace, Ray. What statue should Chelsea make? What legend should Chelsea make a statue of? Is there a Drogba statue? I mean, John Terry. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, for me, it has to be John Terry. It has to be John Terry. So yeah. Austin. Yep. Niini. When did the downward trajectory begin for Chelsea? I think we were seeing. I think it's since Mourinho came. I think. I definitely think it was the second half of that title-winning season. Even though we did win the league, the football became worse, and yeah, that's when things started to go downhill. And then obviously that summer window as well, not being able to bring in Pogba's or the big-name players Mourinho wanted. Things went downhill after that. Actually, no. Maybe if I'm being cynical, I'd say things went downhill when we sold Lukaku, De Bruyne, and Salah. That's when things started to go downhill. Okay, what other questions? I'm going to scroll up. Nitska Matsam, do you believe in the whole myth that the best way to play against big teams like Man City is to defend deep and counter-attack? Well, depending on the quality of your team, I feel that you don't necessarily have to do that. Even when City press, I still think the best pressing team was that Barcelona team under Pep. I think they were by far the best because then they were the best when it came to the use of possession. I definitely feel that you don't have to just sit deep and hit them on the counter attack. Again, there's like different styles of counter attacking. For me, a good counter-attack was what Liverpool were doing yesterday. Obviously, flooding men forward, knowing when to press high, and when to sit back and keep your shape, and looking for those moments to attack them. There's a lot of intelligence in doing that. The so-called counter-attacking style that we see with our team is us mainly just defending deep and hoping to create something. We don't flood enough men forward. Our counter-attacks tend to break down a lot because we get outnumbered in those areas. It's not really counter-attacking in my opinion. It's more defending and hoping something happens. I think against Man City, I mean, if you're a good enough team on the ball, I think you can keep possession against them. Or if not, you can hit them on the counter and keep the ball at the same time. I mean, I think Liverpool had 40-something% possession yesterday, which is good enough in my opinion. What other questions are there? Okay. Andrew Hall, 20 rupee, you could rent a hotel for a day. Okay, what other questions are there? Santosh Ram, do you think we are restricting our budget because of the stadium expenses? Santosh Ram, I make this point quite a lot, and I think probably in every single stream I do. This club does have money. There's, we're not poor. We can afford players. The main issue has always been poor negotiating. I'll give you an example as quickly as possible. Obviously, Lukaku. By the time United come in and steal him from us, we end up matching the same bid right at the end. So it's like, why don't we do that from the start? There have been so many examples of that happening. We do have the money. It's just the negotiation practices. But the club are very, I think it was this season that we managed to break even or something. Or I think we just... No, I think we went in a profit for this year, for this financial year, which I think it was like the first time or the second time it's happened recently. So, yeah, we haven't even, that didn't even add on the Champions League football. So, yeah, there is money at this club. We've hired guys like Guy and Chris to bring in new commercial deals as well. The stadium's going to be built. I mean, we're good for money. We're good for money. Okay. Jonathan Covey, what formation would Jardim use? I'm expecting him to use either a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2. Yeah, that's what I think. I read somewhere. No, Ariz. Yes, Ariz. It's actually good you're on because on Twitter earlier, Ariz made a point about that Jardim reminded him a lot of Sir Alex Ferguson. And then, when I thought about it, he literally hit the nail on the head in terms of how they like to attack down the flanks and how they, not exactly the same way, but let's say the fundamentals are the same. Yeah, I think I think that was a very good observation. Callum Ross, are you in contact with Andy? Nope. Fuck that guy. CFC Anuj, Nini, how comes Football Italian saying Allegri told his players his goodbye and he's joining the summer? The Sky Italia are always saying stuff, aren't they? So you can't really take that, to be honest. Abdullah, where do you see Michi and Murat under a new manager? Play together or one of them leaves? I don't think one of them will leave. You need to have at least two strikers. I think that they'll rotate a lot. I think they'll get a lot of game time. I think there could be even times where they could play together as well. So I think there are two players we should definitely look to keep for next season. J Mojo Nini, am I plastic if I decide to not watch Chelsea next season? Well, if we bring in someone like Sean Dyche from Burnley, if we try to bring back Mourinho again, if we sign Allegri even, then I can understand. Then I can understand where you're coming from. Then you know what? It wouldn't be too bad then, to be honest, bro. SP Danker, with Jardim's favoured formations all being two-men midfields, what will happen with Ruben next season with Jardim? Most likely wanting to use Conte and Bakayoko. Well, Ruben definitely has a big shout. I mean, when they did play, in a way, Fabinho was kind of like the books guy. I mean, no, he wasn't. Fabinho tended to drop deeper. Baka was a bit more box to box, but at the same time, as I said in that video, Jardim does like Ruben. Ruben is known across Europe. He's got a very good reputation. So I think that Jardim would be happy to work with Ruben, to be honest. And if anything, I don't think it's anything set or guaranteed for Bakayoko. End of the day, Jardim's going to see that Bakayoko's form hasn't been good this season. I'm not expecting him to just put him straight back into the team, to be honest. I mean, Jardim was the same guy that Bakayoko had to work hard to get into the team under him. You know what I mean? So, Jardim just doesn't have favourites. So, yeah, I mean, there'll be competition with Ruben there. Okay, what other questions are there? Has anyone sent me any super chats? Okay, no one has. Okay. Okay, what other questions? Alan Rivera, hey man, you good? Alonso can barely pass when he has all the space in the world. Why would we put him there? Is this another Alonso midfield thing? Because it definitely won't be. Josh Banks, yes man, you good? And I'll get back to your DM on Twitter when I have time to explain what Patreon is. But if not, there's a link in the description below. Even if you want to just have a look to see what it's about, you can do that. But yeah, basically, your question is, do you think if Jardim came, he would adapt from 4-4-2 to 4-3-3? I think so. That's the thing with Jardim. He is very adaptable with the players he does possess. I honestly feel that, I'd like to see us, regularly use two types of formations. You know what I mean? I think you have to alternate how you set the team out, every now and then during a season. You can't just religiously use one formation and system throughout a season. I think there will be times where we'll have to keep the ball a bit more, so a 4-3-3 will be a good idea. I think there will be times where we'll have to use, width and create a lot of attacking overloads. I think 4-4-2 would be very fun in a Jardim system. I can imagine the goals coming, up front from Hazard as well. If you can sign someone for the right hand side, and then you've got guys like Hudson-Odoi and Willian on the bench as well, who get goals as well. It's going to look very exciting for next season. Okay, Malcolm X, Ross Barkley, future Nini. I like the guy for real. I kind of feel that he'll get an opportunity, not maybe necessarily being forced straight in the first team, but he'll have a chance to show what he can do. I think, injuries have played a part this second half of the season. I mean, is it really a surprise? I mean, you're signing a guy that hasn't played this season. I don't know. It depends. Who knows? What if he was even sold in the summer? It could be a possibility. I mean, he cost us nothing. And it's going to come down to who the manager's going to be to, you know. Okay, what other questions? Okay, Tyler Rafik, will Emerson ever get a third shot in the starting 11? I'm hoping to see this guy play against West Ham. I think that will be a good indication of whether he will be getting a fair shot. Alonso was very poor in the last game. I think we're not going to get the Champions League football anymore. I think that's kind of over. I think it's about time for Conte to start using some of these guys he hasn't been using, you know? Okay, Tutus Pulo Nini. Are we getting Champions League football if Liverpool win the Champions League? No, we're not going to get that. We're not going to get that. Remember, for that to work, we'd have to Liverpool would have to be out of the top four. That's how it works. But no, it doesn't work like that, bro. Hazard to Man City, probably not. I mean, if Real Madrid are getting put off paying 150 million, I can't see Man City spending that type of money. Hazard's going to be here. I'm expecting Hazard to sign a contract in the summer and he's going to stay here, you know. And then next season, when he's playing under a manager that plays football, a lot of people that are angry with him this season are going to be changing their opinions for next season. So I'm expecting to see that happen, to be honest. Okay, what other questions? How long have I been on for, even? Okay, what other questions? Sorry, you guys. As well as okay. Sorry, you guys. I had to just reply back to someone really quick. Okay, what other questions do I got? Lurifix, there is no chance that Hazard stays. You know what? I think there's a much smaller chance of Hazard leaving compared to him staying. The Carg, what formation will we play under Pulis for next season? I'm not even going to answer that. Imagine if Tony Pulis came though. I don't know. That'd be. That's going to test a lot of people's loyalties. Like, how much do you really love Chelsea as a club? You know what I mean? That would be like a good litmus test to really gauge how much people really love the club, you know? Okay, RD399, Nini, would you play in a 4-4-2 system? Add any signing you'd want as well. Yeah, I think, okay, 4-4-2, yeah, it could work. It could work. Who would he play in a 4-4-2? I'm thinking if Morata and Mitchell can work. Maybe if Morata plays the Mbappe role and has the license to roam across the final third, it could work because he's good at, you know, running past people. Mitchell can play the more Falcao role. I can see Mitchell doing that. He's very good inside the penalty box, to be honest. And you don't want Mitchell really getting involved when it comes to build-up play. You know, I think Mitchell's better when he's focusing on just scoring goals, because he can do that. I see a tiny bit of Falcao in Mitchell, to be honest, especially with the curling finishes. So in midfield, back, I can say, yeah, Hazard on the left playing there. I mean, would he play the Bernardo Silva role? Yeah, he could. On the right-hand side, I'm not too sure who would play there, though, because we need someone who's a bit of a playmaker. Willian can't really do that on the right, so we need to buy someone. Mahrez, for me, it has to be Riyad Mahrez on the right-hand side. Like I said, 2-in-1. Fullbacks, Emerson, I can imagine this guy doing bits in that system. I think Moses can do well. He's got the pace as well on the right-hand side. In defence, Zuma, for me, has to play. He's a colossus. And either Rudiger or Christensen, you know. I mean, when it comes to our defence, we're good, you know. I mean, we're really strong in that area. And in goal, of course, Courtois. When Subasic was playing, it didn't really matter what he did with his use of the ball, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter in a Jardim system because, you know, a lot of the plays start with, you know, down the flanks. Honestly, it'll be so exciting. Imagine seeing, you know, your Emersons and Moses is bombing down wide, and let's say you had a Mahrez cutting inside with Hazard, and then up front. I don't know. I honestly, I wouldn't. If we went in for Martial as well, I'd like to see something like that. Imagine Martial playing the Mbappe role with Mitchell or Morata up front. The amount of goals you're scoring. I mean, we're scoring more than. I think we could score more than 100 goals if that was the system. With Conte, one of the best midfielders in the world too, and we have a much better defence than what Monaco had as well, and keeper. You can see how it's looking even stronger. I mean, Monaco, last season, they scored 107 goals in the league and only conceded 30 goals. But they were pretty good defensively and they scored a ton of goals. It was like ridiculous. Unknown, Nini, what do you think of 2-3-2-3? You guys, you're trying your hardest to make a meme of of Alex. Honestly, Alex, he is a nice guy when you get to know him. He's definitely been getting much better in streams as well. You know, the discussions have definitely been a lot more interesting, and you know, some good debates as well. You know, he's not as bad as you know how you guys make him out to be. But 2-3-2-3, good lords. Mansoni, Martial at Chelsea needed test United make a bid. I can see it happening, to be honest. Exists saying Nini, who should replace Moses? Oh, that's I'm trying to think really. Who on the market is available for the right hand side? I mean, I think Semedo could have been interesting if Barca hadn't signed him. That could have been something. But again, even with Semedo, he's barely been playing for Barca this season, so you know, it's going to be a learning curve for him. You know, I'm going to make this point. I think a lot of people will rate Danny Rose as a fullback. Now, when Danny Rose was interviewed, Danny Rose said that it took him at least 3 years to feel good enough as a fullback. 3 years, because Danny Rose was a winger beforehand. And obviously, the only position that was available for him to get into the team was playing as a left back. And he said he needed 3 seasons just to feel good enough to play at left back. You know, you guys know I'm of the belief that it's good for players to obviously, you know, they do improve as the years go on. It does happen. I think with Moses, already his defensive abilities are very, very good at a very high level, I have to say. Of course, he can be a bit better in the final third, but I think what would make his life easier was if, you know, we have more options up front. You know what I mean? And when you got guys like Tuchel, I mean, you guys think about it. How many goals was Aubameyang scoring? 35 plus a season. Jardim as well. How many guys got more than 20 goals for Monaco? No, how many players got more than 15 goals for Monaco? It was a handful of them. These are two managers that encourage goals. You know, they know how to, you know, they're very good at chance creation as well. They're all the things that we've lacked over these past couple of years. So this is what I mean. You know, we'll have to see a lot of these guys with a completely clean slate, because we're going to be seeing things that we haven't seen from certain players, and we're going to see certain players struggle a bit more playing this new style. So I definitely think a degree of patience is needed, to be honest. Okay, Adnan, Nini, thoughts on 100% Chelsea doing Chelsea ladies vids as well? Do you think this will help grow faster interest in the team for fans, or will it only interest those that want to see them? Well, it is good that that 100% Chelsea are showing some women's football. Now the girl that the girl that actually does the videos for 100% Chelsea, you know Petr Cech's coach, Christopher Lolichon. Remember the coach that Courtois fell out with, and I think he's left the club, or he's got a different role within the club. But anyway, The girl in 100% Chelsea's videos is his daughter. So that girl's dad is Christopher Lolachon, the Chelsea goalkeeping coach. So yeah, I mean, you know, I've, you know what? I would like to try and find the time to watch a women's game. It can be a bit hard, so I can't lie. I would like to make the effort. Of course, it's easier for 100% Chelsea because there's a group of people working on the channel. So if one person's job is to do this or do that, it's easier to hand out the roles. I'm literally just by myself. So, you know, it's hard to find all the time to do that. Maybe, I don't know, let's say if the ladies get to the Champions League final, I think I'll definitely do a video on that. That would be interesting. It would obviously be good to support them as well. So yeah, that's something I'd definitely consider. And, okay, got some other questions. Okay, let me see. I got some super chats. Okay. Queen of Stamford, appreciate that. Okay, I need to find what your question is, so bear with me 1 second. Lyrifix, thank you for the super chat, bro. I think we miss an Essien type of player and a midfield general. What is your opinion? I mean, yeah, but at the same time, what does midfield general even mean, to be honest? Someone that's can win in there 50-50, someone that can start attacks, I'm guessing, someone that can score as well. I don't know, I think Ruben could do well in that type of role, to be honest. I mean, he is young. He's only going to get stronger as well. He's only going to get better in the future. I mean, already the guy's 6 foot something. And when it comes to Ruben's success rate at 50-50s, it is good. You know, he does win a majority of his 50-50s. So it would be interesting to see a partnership of Ruben and Conte. A lot of people rate him at the club. The players rate him as well. To me, I think Ruben will be the next guy that makes that type of Christensen-esque, you know, transformation into the first team. But I mean, Essien, yeah, I mean, Essien, there's so many, you know, he's like a very rare type of player. But any team's going to miss a player of that quality, you know. Imzy01, if Tuchel or Jardim don't come, who else is there? I mean, there's a few. There's that Francesca guy from Shakhtar Donetsk. There's Nagelsmann. There's another guy in the Bundesliga that's doing well. There's another guy in Lucien Favre from Nice. He's pretty good as well. I think there's a Portuguese guy in the I forgot what his name is on top of my mind. I mean, there's definitely managers there. If we just focus more on who's going to have that style of play that's going to complement the team for next year, that's the most important thing. You guys, I make this point a lot of times. We have to have a degree of realism for next year. Let's say hypothetically we do bring in one of these top exciting attacking managers. It's not going to be realistic that they're going to get every single player they want in the summer. It just doesn't happen. If anything, they're going to be able to really build the team in their image for the following season. You know what I mean? I think if you have that mentality of, you know, the next year or two, not a transition year, but, you know, you got to see it like this. You know, we're playing a very negative style of football. We'll be playing a completely different style next year. There's no, like, periods for that transition to happen. It's just one extreme to the other extreme. And you've got to see it like this. There's a lot of players in our squad that won't necessarily suit that style of attacking football. I think Marcos Alonso is one that definitely sticks out for me, in my opinion. You know, there are other players as well. We need to see next year as a transition year. I mean, you know, as long as we're on the right path, we're doing the right things, we're seeing that progress, they're the type of expectations I think we need to have. The reason why I'm making this point is, let's say Jardim or Tuchel didn't come, and let's say we brought in a type of Francesca-esque manager, or you know, or Lucien Favre or something like that, or what's his name? The guy I was speaking about before, Laurent Blanc, yeah, the ex-PSG manager. Even Laurent Blanc, you're not going to expect that type of manager to do magic, but they'll bring positives. They'll help improve players' performances. They'll help us transition from a negative style of football to an attacking style of football. And if you guys see the long-term plan, basically see that, well, let's say that type of manager does the groundwork, then we'll be in a better place in the future for the next big manager to come and then take that squad of players to another level. We've seen it happen so many times. I mean, look at someone like Pellegrini to Pep Guardiola. If you think of it like this, when let's say when Mark Hughes was the manager, there's no way you can go from Mark Hughes straight to Pep Guardiola, because it would have taken a few years for Pep to get the team he wants. I don't even think you could have done a Mancini straight to Pep Guardiola. A lot of groundwork needs to be done beforehand, and we've seen it at Chelsea beforehand with Ranieri. Ranieri did a lot of the groundwork. He produced future world-class players in Terry, Lampard, and so many other great players as well. He secured guys like Petr Cech and Robin for the team as well. And then when Mourinho came, he was able to take that squad of players to another level. Only sign, a handful of players more, and we became an elite team. I think that's the type of patience we need to have, and this is why I keep stressing that it's important that we have a project and a plan for next season, for the long term. Okay, Queen of Stamford, I'm going to look for your question now. Sorry for the delay. Okay, where's Queen of Stamford's question? Where's Queen of Stamford's? Okay, Moses over Walker. I think so too, I'm not going to lie. We know that that Walker can't defend. He's never been able to defend. Okay, what other questions do I got? You guys, I'm probably going to be on here for another 15 minutes, something like that. I mean, I think I started the stream, I think an hour and a half. I think I'll finish this stream at 1 then. So I'm going to be on for half an hour more. And then, yeah, that's it. Oh, what the annoying thing is too, I think I'm picking up the flu. My tongue is killing me. I feel like I've got like an ulcer on my tongue. I don't know if it's from talking so much or from being ill, but it's getting on my nerves. Okay, Hassan Al-Thani, Drinkwater is good. He's a decent player. He's decent. I'm hearing things about Drinkwater which I can't say, which is annoying. Hopefully, I'll be allowed to say these things in the future. I can't right now, but do I think Drinkwater is going to be here next season? It's not looking like it, to be honest. Bernardo Barreto, hey man, you good? Do you know a youth player called Curtis Tippin? Apparently he's fake. Your thoughts? I'll be honest, I've never heard of him before. I'm not someone that's going to pretend that I know someone if I don't. You know what I mean? Maybe if you're saying he's fake, it could be a possibility. I mean, who's this youth player supposed to be playing for? I think I found someone on Twitter. Official professional player for Chelsea's under-21s. You'll see me in the heart of the pitch. Yeah, I'm guessing that's fake then. There's no one called Curtis Tippin. Yeah. I think it's just a lot of smack, to be honest. Doing bits. Curtis Tippin. If this is a troll, then this is a very good one. I'm not gonna lie, but I've never heard. I'm gonna ask Chelsea Youth if he's a real guy. I don't think he is, to be honest, but I'm gonna ask him to find out. Okay, what other questions? Drew Blue 9877. Drinkwater has been better than Bakker. He has. Daniel Mahoja, Lamar an option if Campos and Jardim comes, you think? Well, Hazard plays on the left. Lamar plays I think Lamar could transition to the right hand side, but it's going to cost a ton of money to bring him. Do I think he's worth the 80 million whatever? No. I don't think he'd be the type of player we need to sign. If you can get guys like Leon Bailey and Mahrez for cheaper than the money that Monaco want for him, I think it's best to do that. I really want to see Mahrez for next season. Honestly, the guy's a genius. Playing alongside Hazard, it just boosts our title chances even more. Because he wins games by himself. It makes a lot of sense to me. Lewis Dawes. How could the club improve atmosphere in the stadium? There is none in the West Stand, yep. And I sit in the East Stand and there's no atmosphere in the East Stand. Do you think we could stagnate if we get the new stadium? You know what? It's weird. It's not even just us. It's just Premier League clubs in general. The atmosphere has been getting worse and worse over the years, to be honest. I mean, most times you're hearing any chants, it's always, people reacting to players on the pitch, or we hate stand up if you hate Tottenham, or Carefree. That's all the East Side ever sings is Carefree. When I was younger, like when I was a kid, it used to be a lot more singing. There were a lot more songs for people getting involved in, and maybe it's just, again, with ticket prices being so expensive, I'm guessing football's definitely opened up to a lot more people from different socio-economic backgrounds. It's natural that I guess that the atmosphere would tend to die down a bit. I mean, you look at the average age in stadiums. I think at Chelsea it's like 40 something. At the same time, will guys in their 50s and 60s still be singing as much as they were doing when they were 30 and 20? I'm not too sure if they will, to be honest. So I think there's a lot of factors involved in why the atmosphere isn't as good as it should be, in my opinion. I mean, could the club do something? It's hard, to be honest. I don't see what they could do, really, to encourage things. I mean, maybe like create some flyers with the words for songs on. That would be pretty lame, though, to be honest. It'd be a laughing stock if they did that. So I can't imagine that, to be honest. Okay, I've got some other questions, some other super chats. Thank you. Okay, Luiz, your question is: Were Chelsea about to build around Hazard when they got Kevin De Bruyne, Salah, and Lukaku with a more offensive manager who believed in youth, get them to work? 1,000% they would have got them to work, because they were of a very high standard already. I mean, when Salah left us, when he was on loan at Fiorentina, that he got nearly to I think he got like, what is it, 11 goals or 9 goals straight away, and he signs for Roma and he gets double digits just like that. I mean, De Bruyne goes straight to... Now here's the thing, De Bruyne, he said it himself tonight. When Dortmund were interested in him and they sold Götze, they wanted to bring in De Bruyne to replace him. De Bruyne wanted to join Dortmund during that summer. Mourinho managed to sweet talk him, get him to stay. And then afterwards, De Bruyne was like, fuck this. Wolfsburg came in for him. Then he wanted to leave. And when he left, he literally just started playing amazingly well. Straight, when he was signing in the January window. Lukaku, I mean, this guy's been scoring more than 15 goals every year since his first loan spell. So these guys have already shown their abilities and their qualities. They're at a very high level already. It really wasn't a risk to use them. It's just unfortunate, when you got guys, uber pragmatic managers like Mourinho and Conte, where they value, the team over individual players. It does make it harder, I mean, remember, Mourinho was the guy that was happy to have Aspi playing as a winger against Atletico Madrid in our semi-final game. So it just goes to show their mentalities on football, and it's always going to make it harder for players that have ability, It would have been different, of course. That was the plan. I mean, we signed these guys for peanuts, and peanuts compared to their market worth now. Lukaku was 90 million. De Bruyne would be near 90 million again. Salah is probably at 100 million now. That's nearly 300 million worth of players that cost us. Lukaku was like, let's say 15. It cost us under 30 million for those 3 players, and now they're worth 10 times that amount. And that plan, obviously, with Hazard there, I mean, honestly, in some alternate universe somewhere, like the alternate version of me is watching a front four of Hazard, De Bruyne, Salah, and Lukaku somewhere. You know what I mean? I just wish I was part of that world, to be honest. Moving on to the next question. Bernardo Barreto, thank you, bro, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Your question is, Conte failing on purpose? Keep up the good work. Now, it's hard. I don't want to be too cynical. You guys know I like to be objective. If Conte was failing on purpose, it could be very counterproductive, because let's say you're a big club, we're capitulating a lot. You might start to have doubts on Antonio Conte. So, Conte does have to perform to obviously keep the big clubs interested. Conte wants, he really wanted Paris Saint-Germain. It looks like it might not happen. We don't know yet. It depends on what Tuchel decides to do. Nothing's been confirmed just yet. Of course, there's talks of Bayern Munich being a possibility. But would they, let's say, we're not in the Champions League, they see that we're playing like this, we're playing like that, they might decide, maybe Conte isn't the guy for us. And his options become limited, especially because he will be leaving in the summer. And he's basically burnt a lot of bridges. I'll tell you guys this one thing. Actually, no, I can't say. But all I can say is that there's a certain big player that has fallen out with Conte, and basically I've been told that they're not even on speaking terms anymore. So this certain big player at Chelsea that isn't David Luiz, him and Conte aren't even on speaking terms. So Conte has burnt a lot of bridges. So it's counterproductive for this guy to try to purposely jeopardize our chances, because that's only going to affect his future job possibilities. So, especially when you've got guys like I told you earlier, Luiz allegedly been, telling Paris Saint-Germain to stay away from Conte. And it looks like they've really called their interest as well. So, I don't think it makes any sense for Conte to do anything like that. And to be honest, I don't think he is doing anything like that. Zaki Mahmood. Okay. Michael Daniel, appreciate that super chat, bro. Thanks a lot. Your question is, will Jardim play 4-4-2 like the 16-17 Monaco? That is a possibility. I mean, with the strikers we have, a lot of these guys naturally complement the system. I mean, in guys like your Emersons, your Kantes, your backers, our defence with Hazard, with our strikers as well, that are very good at playing inside the box and running into channels. Mitchell especially, Monaco, even when Jardim, I mean, he is in charge. I mean, we know that Monaco have been very interested in Mitchell for a while. I mean, they've been looking at bringing him in on loan. I think that Jardim would like to work under him, especially now Mitchell's market worth is very high because he's doing very well at Dortmund. So there's a lot of players that would suit playing in a 4-4-2. I'm waiting for a super chat question of someone to ask me what lineup I think would be best for a Jardim system, to be honest, in terms of like what type of players would I buy to fit the Jardim system, because I like to spend a lot of time on that. That could be a good one. Okay, what other questions do I have to ask? Okay, what are you guys telling me? What other ones? Just loading the thing up now. I think it says Madassa Mahmood. Nini, do you have sources in the club? I do have. Of course. Some of the videos I've done, they definitely got sources with the club. CFC News, you got any more exclusive news that you can't tell us? No, I don't have anything. You guys, again, I've never been someone to try and gas about having exclusive news. Most times, I always get lucky when I do hear things. It doesn't happen a lot, but I'm hoping, especially during the summer. I mean, here's the thing. I'm hoping that, let's say, over the next few years, I'm able to become. I like to become a reliable source. I'd like to even get a few more sources. Interact with a few more people, maybe hopefully some journalists as well, to try and get some inside scoops into things as well. I think that's the position I'm trying to get to. It will take me time. Hopefully during the summer, I'm hoping to try and meet at least one more person to network with, just to try and get an understanding of more things and just have a wider background when it comes to that. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, currently there is nothing at this point in time. I'm not going to lie. I mean, if I was one of those, like, scumbag guys, I could just try and lie about every video, make up stories and stuff, and just try and obviously do all of that to try and earn more money. But you guys know I don't do that type of shit. Okay. Wow, what a name. Okay, Vegeta loves hip hop. Vegeta loves hip hop. What about Ancelotti? We have to get him. I'm not too sure. I don't think the club will be looking at Ancelotti. Again, as I've been told, that's not the type of appointment they're looking to make during the summer. I mean, there's a possibility Ancelotti could even go back to France again. There's a big possibility that could happen. Okay, RD399. Yeah, I haven't seen Cesc do much of those balls over the top, making direct assists. But no one in our squad makes those runs like Costa. Very good point by Ardi. There is no cost in making those types of runs. We saw the relationship that Costa and Fabregas had. Of course, it's not the same with Morata. Yeah, stuck in Japan at everyone who wants to be a Nini's football team. You know what? I would like to do something like that. I don't know. That's definitely a goal. I definitely want to create a Blue Lions FC type of football team. Hopefully opportunities come in the future where I'm able to do something like that. Everyday Monday, Vardy and 100% Chelsea made me cry. Yeah. Yeah, at the time, I never heard anything about Vardy. So, I don't think Lee would have made it up. Maybe his source just wasn't as reliable as he thought he was. Maybe he just got a bit too enthusiastic. Because here's the thing. Because I think, personally, maybe I'm being a bit paranoid, but I do feel maybe some people think I lie about my stuff. So the amount of DMs I get from people who allegedly have this info and that info, a lot. I've been very good at just obviously. To be honest, I just ignore all of them. You know what I mean? The two people that I know, no one's going to be as reliable as them. You know what I mean? It's not easy to find people like that as well. All these like DMs from people telling me this, telling me that. I think they just say that to try and catch me out, so I can obviously do a stupid video or something. But yeah, it's never going to happen. Kwame Goring, Nini, would you take a Cardi if Batman left? Yeah. Again, if you got a Tuchel, you got a Jardim where they like to have that poached style striker, it works. It makes a lot of sense. With Icardi, don't expect this guy to press. Don't expect this guy to link up the play. Don't expect this guy to drop deep and do anything. He's just literally a finisher. So I make this point all the time. You got to use players to their strengths. Too often in this country and with Chelsea in general, we tend to sign players and then get them to do different things that they aren't suited to. You know what I mean? We need to stop doing that. I don't see why you can spend so much money on people to not have a set position for them. It's not efficient enough, Okay, you guys, I'm here for 12 more minutes and I'm going to go. So if anyone wants any questions, prioritize. If you want me to spend a lot more time on your question, etc., etc., you guys know what to do. Send a super chat so I can do that. Yeah, literally 12 minutes and I'm going to be off. Yeah, my throat's starting to hurt a bit too, so I definitely need to make some tea or something. Hazardinho, hey man, you good? Nini, if you had the choice of a manager, say Pep or Sir Alex Ferguson, who would you choose? I think they're both amazing managers. I think with Sir Alex Ferguson, there's a lot of entertainment value with this style of football. I would have to say Pep though. I just think it's that dominating style in terms of the the amount of goals scored, and it's an attractive style to see as well. I think you get maximum entertainment value, and I think that Pep's the type of guy that can maybe influence more players to sign for him compared to what Sir Alex Ferguson could do. So, I'd go for Pep. Lurifix, appreciate that super chat, man. Thanks a lot. Okay, your question is Ancelotti. Ancelotti's Chelsea was the best version in my opinion. What is yours? Which youth players, in your opinion, are ready to enter the first team? Ancelotti, yeah. Ancelotti, his system was great. That front three is one of our most underrated front threes. Anelka, Drogba, and Malouda. Malouda was amazing. Anelka, his first touch was ridiculous. His ability to link up the play, amazing player. And Drogba, honest, and they were so fluid. They could all play across the front three. Ancelotti really worked that team amazingly. You're seeing Anelka and Drogba interchange. Drogba is out wide sometimes, Anelka's out wide at times. It's weird. At the time, you kind of take that stuff for granted, We need to get back to that type of level. We really do. That was the amount of goals we scored, the entertainment value as well. It was always fun going to games every week because you're thinking, we can really thrash this team. We can really do bits against this team. I think in terms of entertainment, I'd say Ancelotti's was the best, in my opinion. I'd probably say in terms of emotional moments, I'd probably have to say Mourinho's first spell. There are a lot of great memories which I'll never forget. But yeah, in terms of entertainment, and just like the squad synergy, I'd have to say Ancelotti. And okay, your other question, which youth players in your opinion are ready to enter the first team? there's a lot of youth players. I think Dujon Sterling, Mason Mount, Hudson-Odoi, Boga, Ruben, Masunda, Jay Da Silva. There's so many of these guys. These are guys that if they were playing for Everton's or Southampton's, they'd be in the first team, and then people would be going on about these guys. So we've got so many. Mohammed, thank you, bro, for that super chat. Thanks a lot. Bayern CEO is saying Tuchel signed with another club. Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he's signed, but I think the impression he was giving was that it's basically as good as done now. So we still don't know. Maybe with reports intensifying, it seems like there's a possibility that it's most likely Paris Saint-Germain at this moment in time. We know that the club have spoken to him. Maybe there's small talks happening behind the scenes. Who knows? Matt Law came out recently stating that Chelsea have been obviously being extra frugal in terms of information being released and leaked, meaning that there's a lot of big plans that they have. So I don't know if I'll be hearing too much about what's going to be happening with the club, because it seems like a lot of things will be kept on the D-Lo a lot more. So yeah, you guys. I'm on here for 8 more minutes before I gotta go. Okay, what other questions? Everyday Monday. In my opinion, Reece James is low-key the best youth player. Needs a loan move. He can't be in the youth team next year. I don't even want to see. You know what? I wish. This is why I keep making this point about getting more feeder clubs. I look what Man City are doing in terms of how many feeder clubs they have. I mean, they got a feeder club in La Liga. You know what I mean? That's what we need to do. I don't want to see Reece James playing for Sheffield Wednesday. What's he going to learn there? You're not going to learn shit playing for teams like that. We need to stop sending our sick players to clubs where they're not going to learn anything. This whole thing about you learn how to toughen up playing in the Championship is nonsense in my opinion. I don't see how you're going to learn how to do anything playing in the Championship in my opinion. Yeah, again, Reece James, he was very close to signing for Leipzig, I think a season or two ago. So, I mean, Germany, a lot of these guys got to take the opportunity to go there, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Leipzig tries to come back in for him, Okay, 7 more minutes left, you guys, before I'm gone. Luke Bashian, we love Hudson-Odoi. I just don't understand it. He has more skill than Mane. He's better than that trash Sane. We love Hudson-Odoi. Yeah, he's amazing. Again with Sane, it's one of these. If he was from our academy, he wouldn't make it. He'd be in the same situation that Masunda and Boga are in right now, because he isn't better than them in terms of talent. He's become a much more experienced player now, and he's become better individually because of the amount of games he's playing and the managers he's played under. I've always felt if every player had the same development path, if it was that fair, where everyone could, had the same conditions and environments to really showcase their talents, we'd be seeing a lot more players obviously getting an opportunity and really showing what they can do. But with Chelsea, Okay, Stephen Badoon, Stephen Bodin, Monaco should be our feeder club. I don't know if it's that feasible. You guys have always heard my opinion. I'd like us to get a feeder club from Portugal. I think with the style of, with the league, the emphasis on attacking football as well, I think it's it's a perfect club in my opinion. Okay, Will Rayner, appreciate that super chat again, bro. Thanks a lot, man. Thoughts on Jamal Lascelles for 30 million? Will, to be honest, that does scare me. That seems like something Marina would try to go for, and this is why we need a director of football. Marina is, a very likable person at the club. We can't get it twisted. A lot of players like her, people behind the scenes like her. In terms of negotiating, she's very good for deals. I just think in terms of the football side, because she's a business person, she doesn't understand it. Lascelles to me screams, Marina, but no, I mean, imagine if he's wasted 30 million on another defender when we don't need one. That would just annoy me, and we'll be in the same position we're in this season, signing unnecessary amounts of players. Someone like Giroud. I can't imagine Giroud being here next season. Drink water. I don't think he's going to be here next season. We'll see if Barkley's going to be here too. It'll be interesting to see. I can't really see what position he'd play in, to be honest. That seems to be like, but again, it's an investment one, so I can understand that from a business sense. But yeah, Lascelles, nah. I mean, it's okay looking good for Newcastle, but then we're Newcastle in the league. You know what I mean? There's levels, As a wise prophet called Meek Mill once said, there's levels to this shit, So I don't think Lascelles is on that same level we need, to be honest. You guys, I'm on here for... Yep, I'm saying 5 minutes. I know you guys will be thinking, he always says 5 minutes, it's Niini time. But now, for real, 5 more minutes, then I'm off. So if anyone wants any other questions, prioritize. Now's your chance. Now... Okay, RD399 Kale is on his way out for sure. Luke, buying Lascelles for 30 million would be such a waste when we have Zuma, Christensen, and Party. 100%. Yep. Michael Daniel, free Meek. Yeah, exactly. Free Meek. No props, CFC Anuj. Nitska, Matt Sam, Niini is woke AF. Thanks, bro. Thanks, man. Darko Knight, what do you think of Masunda? He can't get a game in Scotland. Now, you know what? I actually went on Reddit, I think last week, and I went to Celtic's Reddit page to ask the Celtic fans what's been happening in regards to Masunda. A lot of them said that when he has played, he has looked good for them. There's not been a case of him being bad. There's no reports coming out that he's fallen out with any management or he's a diva or he's not performing in training. It's nothing like that. They've basically stated that, with how Rodgers is, expect to see more of Masunda for next season. I'm expecting that once Celtic secure the league, I think we'll see Masunda start the rest of the games. It's weird, but here's the thing with Brendan Rodgers. Sometimes his squad management can be a bit weird. Do you guys remember that documentary a few years back when he was the Liverpool manager? And I think Channel 5 came to document the Liverpool team, and one of the first things that Brendan Rodgers did right at the start of signing for Liverpool, when he's seeing all the players for the first time, he had like a hat, and in that hat was pieces of paper folded up with players' names on, and basically he stated that, I expect, I think this, saying it to the player too, I think you're going to let me down. I don't think you're going to give me the season I need. Maybe this is like a psychological thing where he's thinking, maybe if maybe I'll try to force these guys to, prove me wrong. I'm not too sure, but from when he was doing that stuff, I always thought, this guy's got some funky ideas when it comes to squad motivation and squad management. There really is no excuse as to why Masunda isn't playing, in my opinion, especially when a lot of Celtic fans, I think the last game they drew, they were screaming for creative players. Rodgers didn't use them. So, honestly, it is really weird, to be honest. But yeah, you guys, I'm on here for 2 more minutes, then I'm off. So if anyone wants any question prioritized, if you want me to spend time on it, now's your chance, because literally, I will be going in 2 minutes. No more Niini time. Josh Banks, Niini, 20 minutes later. Oh shit, I should have gone 15 minutes ago. Not tonight, bro. It won't be happening tonight. Dylan, we would see the real Bakayoko if we had Jardim. Yeah, there's a possibility he could have a resurrection. Saramash, Regmi, Onion, Robin for a year on a free transfer. Yes, I would take Robin on a free transfer for a year. 1,000%. James Shaw, where will Chelsea finish next year? Depends on the manager, man. It's got to be top 4, in my opinion. Thoughts on Felipe Anderson? No, not. He's a worse version of Willian. So nah. If you're worse than Willian, you shouldn't be signing for us, in my opinion. Rude Boy Taz, do you think Chelsea will make it into the top 4 next season under Tuchel or Jardim? I think we will, 100%. Like I said, you guys, if anyone wants any question prioritized before I go, send a super chat. You've got your final chance to do so now. If not, I'm going to answer one more question. If not, and I'm going to go. Okay, what question am I going to ask? What's the final one I'm going to ask? What about Zaha, Nini? I like Zaha, but he plays on the left. You've got Hazard there. I really feel that we shouldn't be signing any players that play on the left because Zaha's much better playing on the left compared to the right. I don't want any more Willian situations, to be honest. Okay, what's the last one I'm gonna ask? Smash the like button, guys. Thanks, bro. Okay, the last one will be Nathan Jerome. Do you think our board will allow the new manager to finish outside the top four? I'm thinking that they will, because Chelsea are going back to the drawing stages where they want to start to implement a strategy and a philosophy and a style. I think they're starting to understand that that's going to take time to implement. It's not going to happen overnight. So I'm expecting, regardless of what happens next season, as long as it's nothing like a Mourinho season where we finish below the top 10, I think it's not really going to matter what happens, you know. So yeah. And yeah, you guys, yep, that's going to end today's stream. Has anyone sent super chats? I don't think they have. Okay, no one has. So yeah, you guys, that's going to end today's stream. Obviously, thank you to everyone for coming on. Sorry for the stream starting so late. Some more technical difficulties. I need to try and figure out what's happening with my live streaming. It's really annoying, but you guys, thank you for coming on. Thank you for all the questions. Sorry if I missed out on a lot of people's questions. I know I missed out on a ton of people's questions at the start of the stream because I had so many questions to answer, but I enjoy doing this. I hope you guys enjoy doing this as well. From next week, I'm going to try to push the Patreon more. I think it's just beneficial. Number one, it's cheaper for people because I see a lot of regular people sending in super chats, and I kind of feel that if you just become a Patreon sub, you have the exact same perks. I'll be able to find your questions easier because you'll be on the Patreon page with your questions up. So it is much easier. Plus, it's much cheaper. You know, $5 a month works up being £3.50 for the month. You know, £3.50 for the month, you're entitled to the tactical videos as well as other perks. And for $10 a month, which is like, you know, £7, you're entitled to even more perks. So I'm going to be pushing that more from next week. So if anyone's interested in that, I think it's a money saver, to be honest. And plus, you actually get a service in return instead of just, you know, giving money for nothing. Because, you know, you get to come onto the subscriber calling shows as well as the Q&A stuff. So it just makes a lot more sense. But you guys, thank you for coming on. I'm going to have a video coming out tomorrow. I'm going to release the podcast with Joe Tweedy on Saturday. I'm going to try and record another podcast with Joe Tweedy in regards to Jardim. I still want to release that Tuchel video before the end of this week. Yeah, because I've been working on it already, so I don't want to waste it. And then for next week, I want to do a Jardim video in terms of what to expect, how the system works, etc, etc. But anyway, you guys, thank you for watching. I'm Niiniifc. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a double upload.